bike we're checking out today is a total sleeper. For those of you that don't know, a sleeper is something that's built to look totally normal, but that has a ton of power hidden inside. So come with me for a ride and let's find out what this bike's all about. But first, let me take 2 minutes to show you guys this bike up close because it's a stunner. Ride1up is not messing around with this bike. The first thing you notice when you look at it is, well, nothing. It just looks like any other high-end gravel bike. But when you get up close, you can see the attention to detail starting with the beautiful rainbow flake paint job. There's also 2 other colors available, so if this one's not your cup of tea, go check out the other options. Speaking of options, they also make this bike in 2 different sizes. I'm 5'9" with fairly short legs, so I went with the small so my wife and I can share the bike. If you're taller than I am or just have long legs, go with the large. The frame is carbon fiber and super light and strong. And so are the wheels, carbon fiber, and they're wrapped in 40C Schwalbe gravel tires. There's a little bit more room in the fork and rear chainstays to fit slightly larger tires, but I find these to be the perfect balance for on and off-road riding. For the drivetrain, you get the 12-speed SRAM Apex system with double tap shifter with a 1x setup. No big clunky front derailleur. Just 170mm cranks and one 42-tooth narrow wide chainring that keeps the chain glued to it even when the trails get rough. And for gearing in the back, you get a 12-speed 11-44 SRAM cassette. All you need to climb the steepest hills and get up to top speed. Attached and integrated into the Apex drivetrain are the SRAM Apex hydraulic disc brakes. The whole system is nice and simple to operate, and the brakes have plenty of biting power onto those 160mm roads. For the contact points, you get 15-degree flare drop bars. They're full carbon, and so is the integrated stem. It's such a nice, clean setup. Finally, let's talk about the electronics. The power plant is a 36-volt, completely silent, 250-watt geared hub motor that generates 42 Nm of torque. It's paired to a 15-amp sine wave controller for the smoothest power delivery I've ever felt. And you need a battery to power all this, right? Check this out. Ride1up made a custom 250-watt-hour super slim battery that fits inside this down tube. You don't see it at all. Now, depending on a lot of different factors like rider weight, hills, speed, level of pedal assists, they say this battery can get you anywhere between 16 to 40 miles of range. And if that's not enough, you can get the second 250-watt-hour add-on battery that essentially doubles your range. We'll be testing all that later in the video. Up front, the color display is front and center and has tilt adjustment. And to control everything, you get 2 hidden buttons tucked away on either side of the handlebars. What a sick looking bike. Okay, let's start this ride. So my family and I are camping on Vancouver Island right now, and we're staying at this beautiful coastal spot. Looks like there's a bunch of gravel trails as well as some light mountain bike trails around, and just gonna go explore, see what this bike's all about. So I've done all the regular setup things, you know, like get the saddle height at the right spot and right angle, all that stuff. The bike feels really, really good. For reference, I'm 5'9", and I went with the small model. I've got pretty short legs, and this one fits me just right. Plus, my wife's 5'7", so we can get the seat down a little bit for her, and she can use it too. So far, I haven't turned any power on. The bike is on, but it's in the 0 mode, so there's no power going to this little motor. And I am blown away at how little resistance there is. There's 0 resistance in this hub motor. It is awesome. Super smooth. The bike feels stiff, like responsive. So far, so good. What a pretty place. Okay, let's start the tests on the road here. I've got the bike turned on, but there's no power going to it. Let's see what it feels like with a little power. I'm pedal assist 1 right now. I can't even hear the motor. Wow, there's like a little bit of a wee. I can hear the tires on the pavement more than I can the motor. It's pretty wild. Feels very natural, feels very tame. I don't know if that's the word. Yeah, let's stay close to the beach. Okay, let's go pedal assist number 2. Drop a couple gears. Wow. This just feels like so natural. Okay, pedal assist number 3. I haven't even noticed any like bit of power. It just makes me go faster. That's all it is. Like, it doesn't make pedaling any easier. Mind you, I'm on flat ground right now. I'm sure I'll feel different on the hills, but on flat ground, like, I'm just turning the cranks and the motor is just helping me go a little bit faster in the low power modes, at least. Let's go to pedal assist number 4. There we go, a bit more power. It kind of like erases a few gears. Like, I can be in a harder gear, go faster, but still put a lot less effort in. It's pretty cool. It feels so smooth, and it is dead silent. No one would ever notice that this is an e-bike, because you can't hear it, and you sure as hell can't see it. Okay, let's go to pedal assist number 5. See if we can hit 28 miles an hour. 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. Easy. Wow, this is nice. Let's do a little brake check, shall we? And brake. Ooh. Okay, so first things first. When you get a new bike, you know how it is. Kind of got to get used to it, see what it's like to handle. Okay, let's get a little speed and put it through some S-turns here. Here we go. If you've ridden a road bike, you know exactly what not to do. And this is kind of like that. A little beach access over there. Let's go up here. One thing I really like about this, as far as handling goes, is the CF Racer's built to be more of a relaxed road bike experience, right? Like, it's more laid back. You're not as forward as you would be on an actual road bike. Gravel bikes are kind of designed to be like that, right? They're designed to be able to handle some downhills. So you're not as far forward, you don't have as much weight on your wrists, much weight on your shoulders as with a normal bike, which is nice. You're a little bit more laid back, which I really like. And yeah, feels relaxed. I'm really liking the sitting position on it so far. And the cool thing is with a short bike like this is that it's super agile. You guys will see I have some trails lined up and it looks pretty tight in there. So we'll see how well it can navigate through some tight turns and go around roots and rocks with a nice short wheelbase. So let's do this. I'm gonna go in pedal assist 5 and I'm gonna start pedaling now. Power. Like, the power is instant. You can feel it. Like, as soon as I put my weight on the pedal and start moving forward, the power just creeps in right behind the pedal. I know you guys can't hear it. You probably can't see it, right? It's not that powerful. It's 42 Newton meters, but it is right away. Here, I'm just gonna go on the granny gear here. Oh. Okay, granny gear, and start pedaling now. Yeah. Like, just a little bit of power. You guys see that? Like, I'm ghost pedaling now and the power's just like ramping up, and it's like there's no curve, there's no like smooth and then like all the power. It's just like steady increase of power. It just feels like such high quality, you know? Like, it just feels like the way it's meant to be. Actually, it's not the way it's supposed to be. I'm riding a road bike with a motor and a battery. Oh man, but it is so much fun. So Ride1up decided to go with a current-based Cadence Sensor. Now, compared to the regular speed-based Cadence Sensor, this Cadence Sensor gives you a way more natural feel. It's way more intuitive. With a Cadence Sensor, you set it into a specific power mode. As soon as the cranks start, it just, actually, you know what? No, not as soon as the cranks start. With normal cadence sensors, it takes a while, like at least 45 to maybe sometimes even a full rotation for the power to kick in. With this cadence sensor, it's 10 degrees. That's it. 10 degrees of rotation and you're getting power, and it's nice, smooth ramp up. It's not harsh, it's not quick, it's just, you just kind of like feel it helping you along. Super smooth, very intuitive, very easy to control, and it just feels natural, you know? All right, let's take this thing off-road, shall we? If I'm not mistaken, by what I saw on the map, looks like a little green trail up here. But right now we're starting off with some gravel, which is this thing's home turf. All right. Little creek beside us. Look at that. Pretty. Okay, a little bridge. Ooh. This is where narrow handlebars come in handy. Okay. I get into, okay, I believe this is where our green trail starts. Yeah. I gotta be perfectly honest with you guys. I have never ridden a road bike off-road. I've ridden bikes off-road many times, but never a road bike like this. And this is actually really nice. Like, it's very agile. The frame is stiff. You get carbon wheels here that are also super stiff. Like, they're just, you know, confidence inspiring, right? So you got no worries. You're not worried about bending an aluminum rim. You're not worried at all. The bike is just stiff and goes exactly where you want it to go. So for the off-road portion of the ride, I think I'll just keep the motor in power level 3. It just seems to me like, you know, just the right amount of power. I don't want the bike to go too fast. I don't want to get going too fast because some of these turns are pretty tight. I don't know the trail at all. You know, there's other people using the trail too. So, this section here is a little bit more rough. There's some bigger river rocks here, but these tires, man, like, they're grippy. They're big enough to give you some comfort. I'm running them at about 40 PSI right now. 40, yeah, between 40 and 50 PSI. So far, so good. Got some loose sand in the mix, no problems. Oh man, what a pretty place. So, a little range report here. I don't think I'm halfway through my ride yet. I'm about 7 miles in actually. I just turned to 7 miles and we are at 84% battery. So, that's not bad. That's better than I thought. You know, it says on the website that low range for this is 16 miles. And, you know, I thought that, you know, obviously that being high power modes and doing hills and stuff like that, maybe with a bigger rider than I am. But I've had this thing in power level 3 pretty much the whole time. Ooh, loose sand, come on. Power through, yes. It is sandier than I thought. Whoa. A little loose here. Gotta stay straight. Another viewpoint, look at this. Look at this. Just paradise. Let's keep going. Woo. Looks like my makeshift phone holder is holding. That was loose. I thought I was going down there for sure. But nope. Yeah.
Okay, let's test out the brakes. I'm gonna get going pretty fast and then just slam them on. I'm in a different spot now, obviously, so we don't have our regular markers, but let's do this. Here we go, and brake. Very, very nice. Controlled. Back end locked up easily. You know, like on a road bike, you never really want to lock up the brakes, right? You just kind of want to come to a controlled stop, and this is exactly what these SRAM brakes will do.
Now let's talk about range for a little bit, because I know it's going to be a big decision factor for this bike. I got invited to a 100-kilometer road ride with a bunch of dudes from work. I thought this was going to be the best way to put the CF Racer's range to the test. And for a big ride like that, I outfitted the bike with the optional second battery kit. The beautiful thing about this electric road bike is that you don't need the motor to be on all the time. To save battery on the flats, I kept the bike in 0 mode so the display would turn on, but the bike gave me no assistance. It's so nice to have a rear hub motor that's completely disengaged when turned off, that gives you 0 resistance. At the halfway mark of our ride, when we stopped for lunch and beers, I was at 70% battery, but I knew that most of the big hills were in the second part of our ride, so I'm glad I had all of that juice left.
Man, a little extra help is so nice to have on these types of climbs. Whew.
There were definitely a few times in the second half that I turned the bike all the way up to mode 5 pedal assist. It just made the hills so much easier.
Gravity! Woo!
The rest of the time, I stayed in mode 2 or 3, the perfect amount to help me keep up the pace with these guys that ride way more than I do. By the end of the ride, my legs felt great. Without the pedal assist from the CF Racer, I'd be puking my guts out. There's no way I would have made it through that ride. So here are the numbers. We rode a grand total of 64 miles with 2,100 feet of elevation. Total moving time was 4 hours and 23 minutes with an average speed of 15 miles an hour. I burned a grand total of 3,242 calories. And get this, at the end of the ride, I still had 21% battery left in the tank. So that 40-mile range they advertised for the battery is definitely accurate, and that's not the best case scenario here. There were a lot of big, long hills on this ride, and I had the bike cranked up for a lot of those. If you're lighter than I am and ride in flatter areas than me here in the Pacific Northwest, you'll get a much longer range out of this bike. The best part about the ride today is that no one realized it was an e-bike. Like I said, this bike is a total sleeper.
Range report. So I've hit 57% on my battery and I've done 14 miles. Mind you, I've been in power level number 3 here. I hope you guys can see, but if you cycle through the options on the screen here, you can see that, 70% of my ride here has been in power level number 3. I've tried them all, but not for long. So if I can get 30 miles, 30 plus miles in power level number 3, that's pretty good. And I don't even have the range extender on it yet. This is gonna be awesome. With that additional battery, this is gonna double my range, and this is gonna allow me to take this thing on some really, really long rides. Holy. Let's finish it off with a little bit of gravel, shall we? This is what this bike's meant to do. So let's take 2 minutes and talk about bike and ride quality on this Ride1up CF Racer 1. And let's go through it all, starting with the contact points. The handlebars and grips are probably one of my favorites I've ever had on a road bike. They're not too long, not too wide. This is the Goldilocks bar that they chose and put on this bike. And the other thing that I really like is this flat spot here on the top. Like if you get tired of a certain position, you can just change, and your whole body changes, you get more or less aggressive. And then if you just want to rest, you can just put them on this flat spot here, and it's a really nice, easy spot to rest your palms. Awesome. It also doesn't hurt that the whole thing's carbon, so it just makes this bike this much lighter too. The seat is pretty comfortable. I mean, it's a road seat, right? So it's not gonna have a ton of cushion on there. If you're into road bikes, you've probably got your favorite seat. And yeah, so far so good. I've been on this seat for about hour and a half now, and you know, I don't have any sore spots or my junk hasn't gone numb yet. So far, so good. And then the pedals you get with the bike are just some regular flat pedals. Obviously with the road bike, you're probably gonna wanna put some clipless pedals on there, get you some extra power on the upstroke, but this is just a starter set of pedals. The frame is beautiful. I was just blown away at the quality of frame that Ride1up is giving you here for just a little over $2,000. A full carbon frame that's this beautiful, that has through axles in the front, full carbon, gloss paint job. It is absolutely stunning. You know, like I said earlier, I'm 5'9". I went with the size small just so that my wife and I can share the bike, and I've got fairly short legs, so you know, puts me in a great position. I'm happy I went with the small, to be honest. I think large would have been too large. I would have been on the low end of a large bike, so I didn't want that. But it's nice they give you the option, right? Speaking of options, they also give you the option of 3 different colors. The brakes are great, you know, hydraulic disc brakes from SRAM on a $2,000 gravel bike is crazy. Like I'm just blown away at the level of quality Ride1up is able to cram into a bike that's just a little over $2,000. Love the way these feel. They're hydraulic, they're easy to bleed. They come to a stop in a really nice, easy, controlled manner. It's just awesome, just perfect. The shifting is also integrated here on the right. So you do one click, you go into a harder gear. You push it a little further, you go into an easier gear. It's just so easy. It's just one little click. The gearing's dialed from day one. As soon as I took it out of the box, I put the front wheel on and that was it. I shifted through the gears and it was just crisp, you know, like someone that cared put this bike together, took the front wheel off, boxed it up and sent it to me. That's what it felt like, which was awesome. The tires are great. I've got them pumped up to about 40 PSI right now. I could probably go harder if I was doing a road ride, but I kind of wanted a little bit of comfort here, right, with the gravel and some of the light trails that we did. I like how these 40C tires are wide enough to give you comfort and give you traction on the gravel and on the rough trails, but still you can easily pump it up, get them rock hard for the road if that's what you're into. Or you can swap them out for a set of slicks if all you're gonna be doing is road riding, right? Not to mention that those are wrapping a set of carbon hoops. Again, this bike is under $2,500. You get carbon wheels, carbon frame, carbon fork, carbon bars, SRAM components, SRAM brakes, Swalby tires. These are all high-end name brand stuff, and you're getting all this for $2,500. It would be impressive alone if this was just a regular bike at $2,500 with all of this that you get. But Ride1up put a battery, a motor, a screen, and a controller into this bike that makes every ride just that much more enjoyable, that much more easier. You can go faster, you can go longer. You can ride this thing without any power. Right? Throughout my camping trip here, I've ridden the bike without power with the family, right? I only turned the power on today on our ride, which is insane. You can also have the bike on, the bike's computer can be on, but then you could just have no power, right? So you can get your mileage, you can get your speed, you can get your speedometer, everything's there. You just don't get any power to the motor, which is still perfectly fine. Still pedal the bike just as easy as if it had power, no problems. There is zero resistance to the back. It's just a little bit heavier than a normal bike, right? But if you're riding flat roads, that doesn't matter at all. And finally, let's talk about the electronics. Guys, the electronics package on the CF Racer 1 is blowing me away. Starting with the screen here, I can see it in the bright sun. I can see it when it's dark. It's colorful. Every power mode's a different color. It's easy to see in the dark. It's easy to see in the sun. No problems with this screen. I've got polarized glasses on right now. Easily see the screen, no problem. I love it. You can get a power meter here, right? So it shows you how much power you get. And double tap again. You get a ton of different things that come up on the screen. You can even see a percentage of what power mode you've been in the most, which is pretty cool. So I love that. The current base cadence sensor is so natural feeling. I hopped on and I thought for sure it was a torque sensor. With how quickly the power came on and how smoothly the power came on, I couldn't believe that this was a cadence sensor. I had to double check the website. It feels so natural, it feels so intuitive. It's the perfect cadence sensor for a road bike or gravel bike. And this little motor, I mean, come on, guys. This motor is completely silent. Like I said earlier in the video, this is the perfect sleeper bike. I'm hoping to see you in a couple of weeks here. I've got a road ride coming with a bunch of friends from work, and I'm gonna take this bike and I'm gonna see if anybody notices that this is an e-bike or not. I bet you I get through at least half the ride before someone even says something. So $1 million question, who's the CF Racer 1 from Ride1up really for? Well, if you're into road biking and gravel biking and you want just a little bit of help to keep up with the pack, this might be your perfect bike. You can ride on flat ground with no power, keep up with your friends, but as soon as they turn it on and there's some hills in there, put on a little bit of power and keep up with the pack, right? If you're like me and you hate hills, I always gas out on the hills. On flat ground, I can go forever, right? I mean, so can most people. But as soon as there's a hill up ahead of me, I just gas out. I completely obliterate my legs, I start cramping, and it's no fun anymore, right? So if you're someone that loves road riding but just wants a little bit of help, you want a total sleeper build that, it would be hard for someone to realize that this is an e-bike. If you want to go on more road rides, go farther, go a little faster than you would normally, and you don't want to kill yourself on each ride, look at this bike, man. It is such a good value. Under $2,500, you get a bike like this. It's absolutely insane. If the CF Racer 1 sounds like it's a perfect bike for you, do yourself a favor, click on the link in the description, or better yet, scan this QR code with your phone's camera. That'll take you right to Ride1up's site. It'll guarantee you the best price they've got going on right now. They always have sales going on these bikes. And if Ride1up is nice enough to give me a discount code to help you guys even further with the price, check the description. It'll be the first thing you see there. And if the Ride1up CF Racer is not the perfect bike for you, that's okay. Maybe the bike in this video will be more what you're looking for. I'll see you guys over there.